All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Coffee Run with John from ProCraps. I got a busy, packed day for you today. Hopefully we're well attended. This is gonna be a good show today. I got a lot of stuff to talk about and it's going on here. So why don't we just jump? Hey, Crap and Camper Brian, let's jump into it. Let's jump right in and get. Oh, that's the wrong screen. There we go. What's happening out there? Boy, oh boy. I'll tell you what, I'm kind of a nerd with this, right? I love my podcasts, right? So Jeremy's got one now. Jeremy and my good friend Jim, the professor, are doing a podcast together every Sunday now, which is good. There's a rhythmic thing, right? Sundays we have their podcast live, which is great. It's kind of taken the spot of Craps Chat because Craps Chat used to be Sundays at that same time, but it's not anymore. But yeah, we got Jeremy and Jim going live, and they're fun, right? They're two good friends of mine. They're just kind of shooting the breeze back and forth, going over the casino news, the Vegas news, that kind of thing. It's cool, and hitting a couple of topics here and there, which is great. So I love that. I love that show. As you know, Casino Tears is on every Tuesday. So you have Sunday, Jeremy and Jim. Tuesday, you got 10 Ton and Ed doing the Casino Tears. And that thing kind of runs this weird kind of play, right? There's sometimes where they're just kind of bullshitting and having fun. Sometimes they're just Ed's ranting on things. You know what you're going to get with that show, which I think is what makes it great, right? Because you just don't know what you're going to get. Ed can be a loose cannon, right? They've said that. But I think it's good because it's not like the same old, like my show, same old. Come in, get the news, get the paycheck update. John teaches, and then we go home. I'm on a rhythm. That show is not on a rhythm, which is, I think, what makes it great. Both of them are about half hour to 45 minutes. It's perfect for me, dog walking time. I love it. They're great. Ed also, by the way, news and notes. Look at the, if you're not on these things, get on these things. The reaction videos that Ed's doing are great. They're funny. He's trying to have a good time with it. He gets a little salty sometimes, right? And it can be a little pointed. His critiques can be pointed, and that's okay, right? I think my reaction to the reactions, and he actually did a reaction on me, not a video, but he kind of did a reaction to my cruise ship recap, right? Which, admittedly, I'll tell him this thing. He got it wrong because he was saying that I lost money because I hedged. I don't hedge. I didn't hedge on the ship. I was relaying what other people do and how they got destroyed by hedging on the ship. I was kind of telling their story. But anyway, you got to have a thick skin with that stuff, right? I'll write to Ed and say, hey man, I think, we got to, correct the record on that, but it doesn't matter ultimately, right? I mean, Ed has his opinion. I think reaction videos are all about opinion, and it should be a reaction. Like it should be like, oh, I just saw that. I'm not sure I love what I heard, or I just saw that and that's freaking awesome, right? Reaction videos are great because you get some knowledge behind the person, hopefully that's given the reaction, but it's also a real reaction. There's no prep to those things. I don't think Ed preps those. I think he just kind of watches the video in real time and just goes with what he's saying. That's where the magic in those things is, right? It's the real time. Ooh, that hit me a certain way, and you get to hear about it. I love, like, one of my favorite genres is music reaction. I love music reaction videos. They're great. I love politics reaction videos too. When you watch like somebody react to a speech or to something like they're so fun because usually it's somebody on the other side of a thing. And usually it's like they have these moments where it's like, hate it. Oh, that was kind of cool. And I think music ones, especially when I watch like rappers and metal people react to each other's stuff. And sometimes like classical musicians or composers, like music theory teachers reacting to like gangster rap. Like I love that stuff because they really are like, hey, I don't like this at all, but here's what I appreciate about. That's great. I think that's where that series is going to head that way more. So I love the reactions. And if Ed comes after me on one of these one day, and I'm sure he will, take it like, pull the pants up, man. It's okay. I mean, we all have to have thick skin. I think if you get reacted to by somebody who's doing a reaction video, that's probably a good thing, right? It means you got something to say. And I think it can make it happen. So I think that's good. If you're missing it, also, Chris from Dice DGen is doing a bankroll build, $100 to 10,000 with real money. He's doing it with the online casino. He films his stuff. It's great, right? He's up and down. He got trounced the other day. But you know what? It's cool. Like, watch that because it's fun. It's real money. He's like, put $100, right? But he's working his systems, right? He's doing like I do. He plays the same system. He kind of locks into it. He does his thing. And it's fun to watch it. It's a quick hitter. It's not like it's an hour of your day. It's a 10-minute video, right? So watch Dice DGen's bankroll build. And if you're missing it, Craig Mulvey Craps dropped a 50 roller on Friday. I missed it. I don't watch a lot of live stuff. I don't watch a lot of live rollouts. To me, I mean, here's my reaction to this. Live rollouts are like watching paint dry. Like I don't do a lot of the crapsy stuff. I got a lot going on. I'm packing. I'm doing a bunch of crap in the house. So I don't normally watch the live rolls, but I like to go back and watch a replay sometimes when something cool happens. And so when these things happen, Craig dropping a 50, 2 ATSs and a 5-point fire bet on one show, that's cool stuff, right? And the coolest thing about it, right, to me is, and like when Joe does this too, right, is when something great happens, we literally freak out, right? We all are like, I know it's fake money up there, right? But when I win on my paycheck show, I'm literally like, I'm shaking, I'm getting excited. I love it. Like that'll never go away from me. And I think when Craig does stuff like that, it's real for him. All these guys that are doing it, it's real. So log in to get some of that, right? I would say this. I think we need more. I think we need more podcasts. I think you got Casino Tears on Tuesday. You got Jeremy on Friday. You got the You Can Bet on That guys going every couple of weeks. There can be more of these things. I don't think that another podcast or two is necessarily stepping on somebody's toes or stealing somebody's thunder. I think there can be more. We can have one every single day, and I think we'd all probably love it, right? We'd all, and especially if it was a different voice every single day. 5 days a week podcasting, let's do it. Let's do it. This show here is kind of a podcast, I guess. I mark it as one, so you could listen to this show. But I think every day there could be a podcast. I can't get enough of it. And, you know, I was talking to somebody about doing one at some point, and it's like, I would do it again, a regular, real podcast, but I would want it to be not about craps, right? I think we could do more podcasts about general gaming or just podcasts about traveling, like cruising. Like there's so many things you can do for 45 minutes on a podcast that are interesting to all of us. You can get into some politics. Don't tell anybody, right? We can do some fun shit because now we have this community. And I think that I want more podcasts, not less podcasts. I want more bankroll builds. I'm doing one every day. Chris does one every day. Joe from Craftsmaster Journey is doing his blue collar craps every day. More of that, right? Let's play crapsy together, live fantasy style with a purpose. Bankroll build, right? We should, and at some point, Crapsy is going to give us the ability to share bankrolls between shows. When that happens, you can be working your actual bankroll, building your paycheck across shows. But I think more people should do bankroll build. I wish Jeff would do that, right? On his midday max, he should have a bankroll that he's building himself, right? And then show us how he does it, right? As the money gets bigger, how do you change? Like I've changed from being grinder John to all in John as the money got bigger, right? I completely changed the way that I view paycheck play from years and years and years to where I am right now because of the show. And I think more of that. I would love if more people would do like what Chris is doing, more live $100 to $10,000 challenges. Like these are fun things. It makes to me Crapsy an interesting thing because now I got somebody to root for. I'm rooting for the host to get there, or I'm rooting against the host to get there. Either way, right? That's great. More of that, the better. More of that, the better. I think we can do more. I'm looking at like people say to me, John, how do you have so much content? Well, I can find things to talk about because I'm a nerd, but more of these kind of things, the better for everybody. That's the way I look at it. I want to see this thing grow even stupidly bigger than it already is. So that's my nerd talk for that stuff. Now, what else is happening here is this. We had a meetup in Seattle on Saturday. Ian Olson organized it. We had a private table out there at Snoqualmie with our craps group, our local craps players. It was me, Ian, Gina, who's not in the picture, unfortunately, Holly, who is in the picture, she's the girl in the front there, Golden Touch shooter, Craig, Nathan, Zeech, Sal, a bunch of, I think 15 people there. It was great. We had a good time. Got my ass kicked at the table, I'm not going to lie. One of those days, right, where I never caught the rhythm. And we'll talk about that tomorrow. Tomorrow's show is about recovery. Never caught a good rhythm, right? Tried the don't a little bit. The come outs destroyed me on switching sides, the PSOs. I could not catch anything really, and just burned a bunch of money. I had a good little run at the end there and made some back, but it ultimately, like I say all the time, if you're buying in for $350 or $500, I bought it for $500 and then $200 again. I'm not there to make a $10,000 off of $500. I'm there to have a good time, right? You're there. That's an entertainment night out, and it was great to hang with people. Got to talk with Ian a little bit about the new house and plans for the channel, and it was just a good night, right? So I loved it. Thanks again, Ian, for organizing that. This group here, I think, is going to be the core group that goes on the Alaskan cruise that we're going to do in July next year. So I'm trying to rally the troops a little bit and sort of drum up some more interest for that. So that was fun, Ian. Thanks for putting it together. Really, really appreciate that. I want to jump really quick into something. Actually, let me do the paycheck recap first. Then I'm going to come back and I want to talk about ATS and repeater bets. Here we go. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I'm going to go way ahead here. I'm going to go out of order today. I want to cover things in a specific order. June for the paycheck, we are 5-0. Again, lucky today. Today was a grinder day. I did not like today at all. We won $1,000, won $975 today. But it was no fun. Skill, I love you. You're a good friend of mine. But we did the skill 660 today. Okay. Trying to win $1,200 with the skill 660, which means I need at least 4 hits to get it. It's got to be 660 to 880, back down to 660 to 880. You do it twice, it's $1,000. We did it twice, won our $1,000, but we didn't win quite 1,200. So then I had to go, a few more rolls to draw it down to get to. It took me like 13 rolls to get $1,200 today. It was way too much. I needed a miracle to get there. That was way too. It was a little less risk at the beginning, but way too grindy. Way too grindy for a paycheck. It was like at any point in time we would have had to start over again. And you get into that kind of that we're gonna tie. I didn't enjoy it today, but it worked. It worked enough to where we're now up $32,000 in total. Right, our bankroll is $42,000 now. We're a good week away. I mean a good week, like a solid week of wins away from being at 50,000, halfway to goal, which is pretty damn cool. So keep your fingers crossed for me that thing keeps going well. All right. So paycheck review is done. I want to switch over here and I want to do a little bit of quick update on the Craps for the Cure. Notice a change to the screen. Everybody notice the change to the screen. Okay. Dates are now TBD, not October 19th. Sorry. It'll probably be October 19th. But the casino that we're talking about or talking with asked if November 2nd weekend was a possibility. We're talking through what does that look like? There's a general availability thing. I think there's a big event in town on the 19th. I think it might be the NASCAR race. I'm not sure what it is, but it is a possibility that the 19th won't work for the casino. So before we all buy tickets to Vegas, wait for me to lock this in. Wait for me to lock it in. I'm working through it. I think it's going to still be the 19th, but they put it out there that maybe the 2nd, which is 2 weeks later, is better. It's between NASCAR and F1. There's a big downtime in there where for the casino, having the packed table for 24 hours makes better sense for them, right? And again, we're trying. So anyway, there we go. So just food for thought. Don't buy plane tickets just yet. Maybe we'll see. More on that when I know. Okay. Now I want to talk quickly before we do our actual lecture today about ATS and repeater bets. I'm on record as saying I don't like the ATS. Okay. The other night at our Snoqualmie meetup, Ian in chat, tell me how many times we went around the table. Probably what? 5 times on our table. I think we went out 5 times. So basically 40 shooters. Now, just want to call it out. I made my money last for 40 freaking shooters. So even though I lost in the end, I made it through 40 shooters, which is insane. How many ATSs got hit? How many legs of the ATS got hit in 40 shooters? The other table, I know hit 1. Gina hit 1. On our table, that answer is 0. Nobody hit it, right? And the table minimum was 555. You had to do $5 on the ATS. It was no 111, no bleeding into it. $15 every shooter if you're playing it. Every single shooter for 40 shooters. Got 0 hits on that. What is, 40 times $15? That's $600. If you're playing 555 on every shooter and nobody hits it, you lit $600 on fire that night. And a lot of people did. A lot of people were playing every single shooter. And it's not just the 40 shooters. It was a come out 7 reset, come out 7 reset, come out 7 reset. There was probably $750 to $800 burned on ATSs that night. Okay. And again, if it hits, great. I was 1 away from it, right? If it hits, okay, you make your money back. That's awesome. But that's a huge bleed. Let me show you something here. I'm going to actually minimize this. Give me a second here to get my screen set up for you. I'm going to go here and I want to review some stats with you. This is my ATS stats. This is for the Daily Paycheck Show. So the Daily Paycheck Show, if I go here and we go to, give me a second, the paycheck thing. This is 7,200 rolls. It's about 850 shooters, roughly. Okay. Out of all these rolls, first of all, I told you before, I'm pretty random, right? I'm right at the SOR of 6, essentially, right? My SOR is 8. BSR should be 4. It's 397. Like everything is right where it should be. My roll quality should be about 35. Mine's at 37. Right. I'm as average as you're going to get. Okay. So this is a pretty good sample set, I think, to go through this. Here's my ATS numbers. Now, if you're betting 555 and a $15 pass line, which you have to do, most places now require line action or working bets. You can go, $12, 6 and 8 working to cover that. But you got to have $30 in action. Okay. Here's the numbers on my actual rolls. These 7,500 rolls. Here's how I did. Okay. I hit the ATS, the all twice out of 839 shooters. I hit it twice. Okay. I should have hit it 3.5 times. I've hit it twice. So I'm a little below. The tall I've hit 27 times, which is more than I should have. The small I've hit 33 times, which is twice what I should have. Right? These are great numbers here. Getting the alls where the hard part is. Okay. Now take a look at the numbers here. You're playing the ATS and the pass line. The come out 7s don't hurt you. They don't help you, but they don't hurt you. Right? Come out horn numbers, burn your pass line bet for $6,000 or whatever that is. Right? Every time you 7 out, you lose $30. That's what the $25,000 is. $25,000 burned by losing on all those shooters. Holy crap, right? I've hit it a few times. My net negative here is $11,500. If I'm playing 555 with a pass line on myself, I would have donated $11,000 to the casino. Whew, right? If you're allowed to do it without the pass line, okay? The pass line, the come out losers would cost you the $5,900, right? In that case, though, you still lose $8K. Still losing $8K, right? If I'm playing just the pass line, no odds, no ATS, I'm losing only $3,500. There's your low house edge thing, right? That's what the ATS does to you. It's you feel like you're going to get it, but boy, oh boy, when it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. Now here's these numbers down below. This is simulating what if when I gave you this lecture a few weeks back, what if I played for the ATS with the mindset of I'm playing for the ATS? What if I said, I'm going to go 555 and a $15 pass line bet, and I'm going to put enough bets out there to win $30 and then pull my bets down. Let's 110 inside, take one hit, bets are off. So I cover these bets. I cover the bets with one hit. Now, sometimes you're going to lose that bet, of course, right? Let's pretend you win it every single time. If you win that bet every single time and you covered your $30 every single time, you'd be up $13,000, right? You mitigate that. You mitigate the missed points hurting you in that case. The come out horns still get you, but you mitigate the points missed. So you could win 13K if you can guarantee yourself winning enough money during your roll to pay for this. And you can go out there and literally swing for the fences. 555, pass line bet, 110 inside, take one hit, bets down, ATS is covered, and let's see if the shooter can make it or not. And just sit there all day long and wait for somebody to hit this, right? You can win 13. But most people don't do that, right? You're 555, you're 64 across, you're 66 inside, you're whatever you're doing, and you're tanking 11K on the ATS plus what you're losing up top. That's the reality of the ATS. And I think, again, I'm doing really good here. I'm twice, almost 2 times what I expected to get on the small and the tall. I'm just not getting them all. Even if I got 3, if I got 3 talls, you're still, right? You're still down 10K the way that it works out. Okay. That's the ATS. Now I talk about the repeater bet a lot, right? My favorite bet is the repeater. Here's the repeater bet. And here's why I love the repeater. I got to zoom out a little bit for that one. Zoom out. Can you see it all? Let's see. Kind of. Okay. So the repeater bet, the real repeater bet, cost you $5 a bet, cost you $30, right? I'm not doing the repeater on the out. I'm just doing the repeater on the insides, just on the box numbers, right? So $30, same risk as the ATS person would have. Okay. In casinos that have the actual repeater bet, okay, you lose on the come out 7, which sucks. Okay, so you will burn $11,000 doing that, right? You're gonna burn this right here. When the 7 out comes, of course, you also burn your repeater bet. You burn 25,000 on the 7 outs. You burn 11,000 on the come outs. Overall, you're losing $11,000, which is, by the way, a little bit less or right about the same as the ATS person who's betting 555. You're kind of close there. However, on the repeater bet side, if you can make a play that wins you back that $30, you're up 13,000, which is cool. I will tell you this, I can locally, and you can do this at the stadium crafts, mitigate this completely. You can take that $11,000 away completely. How? You do the repeater bet on a $5 table and never collect. In other words, $5 9, full press, full press, full press, full press, collect on the 5th one, right? You put $5 at risk just like you do here and just never collect on the number until the 5th hit of the 9 or the 5, until the 6th hit. You let these things just play themselves out. You burn $32 across or you win this. You're not going to get burned on the come out 7 because you're off with the puck, right? So on a regular $5 table, which are, again, I got them all over the place up here. Stadium craps, $5. You can do this on the stadium craps table too, right? You can mitigate the whole come out 7 nightmare and just let repeaters happen. On my rolls, I repeat a lot. I told you guys, I don't throw long, but I repeat a lot of stuff, right? Look at this. If I take this $11,000 out and mitigate the come out, I'm up 25K in the end, right? That's how that looks for us. Even if we're only down $70, right? If you don't make your 7 out losers and your winners together, you lose $70, but you can actually make 25K on the repeaters by getting rid of the come out 7s. Now this assumes that I can make my $30 back. If I can make back my $30 during the roll, I'm up 25,000. If I can make my $30 back during the roll here, I'm up 13,000. It's double, right? The repeater is double the win if I can make back $30 during a roll. Think about that. Double the win. This, to me, the do-it-yourself repeater, if you're going to go home run or nothing, I would do this. I would do it this way. I would, pound for pound, it's a better bet. It's a way better bet. The upside's way better, and I can dodge the come out 7. I don't have to play the come out 7. I can just do it. And frankly, at a $10 table, let's make them 10s. At a $10 table, 64 across, and just let that shit roll. Take this away, right? You can be up 50K on that. Again, if you can make back your $60, if you can find a way to make $60 on a shooter during the roll, and some of these rolls here, you're going to have these presses where you're going to get change back. You're going to make some of this back anyway. 50K. Even if you don't make your $60 back, you're only losing you're putting up $140. Cost you $140 to play this way without the come out 7 being a problem for you. Isn't that interesting? The repeater bet's where it's at. I'm telling you, you don't see it because it's slow to deal. Number one, let me get out of here. It's slow to deal. Let me go back to this screen here. Keynote, there we go. It is, like I said, it's slow. But if you can throw the repeats, those things pay so good and so quickly. And if you got the balls to go 64 across or 32 across and let it just freaking go, and your target is, let me just make my $30 back so I can let those things run, there's a huge home run to be had there. Better home run than the ATS. And Joe, I would like to watch you on Joe's show. Let me see if what your stats are. ATS if you have your stats long term, I'll get them from Alfredo and from George and from Mac too. I'll put everybody's numbers in here. We'll see what the difference is. The do-it-yourself repeater versus the ATS, I think, is a way better bet. It's not a math thing. It's just what happens to you at the table kind of a thing. You know what I mean? So there's that. You're not supposed to play it every time, right? That's what you call it a bonus bet. But the thing is, you don't play the ATS every time. Jacob says it too. If you're not going to play it on everybody, don't play it. You're going to play it just on you, then you're missing out, right, on the opportunity. It's there for opportunity. If you don't play it for everybody, you might as well not play it. That's me. I play it on myself and a couple other people because I don't want to burn the money. I looked at that, burning $700 on 40 rollers. That's stupid, right? So there you go. Yeah, the repeater bet, Tom, go check it out. Go check out, just look for Craps Repeater Bet. You'll see it. It's in Reno and a couple places. There's a few places in Vegas that have it. At a $5 table, you can replicate it. I'm going to do it maybe I'll do it Friday as a Friday Follies, so you can see it. It's definitely interesting. And Ryan, I'm not sure about this yet. I'm trying hard to keep the 19th because I've advertised it. So hopefully we get it good, right? Yeah, if you pool money, it's dollars and fives, right? Totally. If you want to pool your money, that's great. Everybody puts in a couple of bucks and you get, that's a better non-bleed, right? We've done that before too. I've done it with 3 people, 5, 5, 5, 1 from each person. That's a better way to go through it, but you got to have luck on that thing. So, there you go. You could do a don't pass, but again, the don't pass, same thing, right? The come out sevens, whack that don't pass. Now you're chasing the ATS plus the $60, right? The come out 7 is the thing that gets you. And the ATS, the problem with the ATS to me is not so much the 555, which is a problem. The problem with the ATS to me is the requirement from most casinos to play a pass line bet or a don't pass bet. They make you be on the line, right? The pass line, that come out 7 winner, just you tie, right? You lose your 15, you win your 15, you're tied, or if you're up, you go 25 and 15, whatever. You're bleeding out the come out wins. The pass line bet is only good, right, when it gets through and you have the massive odds behind it. But it's that come out winner that makes it special, and you're giving it up on the ATS, and that's a shame. And I think, again, how do I say this right? The casino never does anything good for you on purpose, right? The fact that they're making you have 555 up there, they know once around the table, 8 times 15. They know what that's going to be. What is that? 30 times 4, whatever the hell that is, right? They know that's going to be a few $100 around the table for each person that's playing it. They know that. They can do the math, right? They also know that by requiring the line bet, right, they hedge themselves out. That's a hedge for the casino, not for you. That's a hedge for them. They're paying you $15 and getting it right back. That's a wash for them. They look at that like that is you're just feeding the beast on that thing. Trust me, there's no reason why they do things that are positive for you and not for them. So remember that. That's why I like the do-it-yourself repeater bet. If I'm going to play home run, that's the side bet you're going to play. For me, anyway. There you go. All right. 401 time before I run out of time. Skill says stop talking and get to it. Right, here we go. Let's get to 401. Gambling 401. Remember this. Here we're going to talk some fun stuff today. Remember all this stuff, right? This is going to tie back today into last week's talks about goals, strategy, bankroll, mindset, and discipline. We need all of it here. Okay? To bring it all home. We're still talking about exposure. That's the wrong thing. Hold on. Dang it. Let me get down to the right. I'm in the wrong section. Oh, geez. Hold on. I got to scroll down here. I put the wrong thing up top. Where are we at? Session. Jeez. Again, case of the Mondays. Where are we? Session 5. Session 5? Come on, John. Find it. There we go. Woo! I knew it was in here somewhere. Optimizing for exposure. So we talked in our previous session about generally what exposure is, right? And to recap that for you, exposure is all the ways that you can lose, right? You can be exposed for too much bankroll, too much of your bank account in your rack, too much of your rack on the felt, right? Too much of your money on the felt on one number, perhaps, right? You can be exposed by the things that beat you on the tables. In roulette, if you've got one bet on one number, you have 36 or 37 ways to lose, right? In craps, you're betting on one number, you have, the 6 ways to lose, depending if you're hopping or something. You can be exposed for time, right? If your strategy takes 10, 15, 20 wins to get there, you're exposed for time. Today's a good example. In my daily paycheck show, I played the 660. We needed to get an inside hit, a full press, another inside hit, and then do it again. I had to do that twice. That's 4 minimum inside hits just to get my paycheck, right? That's asking a lot of a strategy to survive not only 4 rolls, but 4 specific hits, okay? That's exposure. Now you gotta find a way to optimize for it. And here's what I believe. I believe it's a zero sum game. I don't believe that exposure in gambling is like financial markets in the US. Let's take the US economy. People think that there's a pie of money, that the rich have 90% of it and the poor have 10%, and that's all there is. And the money just moves around this pie. That's not the case, right? In America, there is unlimited money. Money produces money. Wealth creates wealth. And the pie expands. The percentages may be the same, but the size of the pie expands. There's unlimited money here to be made. In this world, not the casino money, but in looking at time versus bankroll versus what you get whacked by, there's only a certain amount you have to play with. You cannot make that entire pie chart green and cover everything. You can't have the perfect bankroll for the exact amount of time with no whacks. It's impossible. It's an algorithm that we can't solve. Okay. So we have to look at ways to optimize our play styles that take into account where we're exposed. Okay. So let's first talk about time. Okay. Optimizing for time. Now, I like to play a short game when I'm going, again, this is going to be me going with myself, right? If I'm doing if I'm in Vegas on a trip and I'm playing with friends at night, I do a coffee run in the morning. I'm going at 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, right? I want to play by myself. I want to get in. I want to get out, just like I do on my morning paycheck show, Daily Paycheck on Casino Gaming TV. Just like I do on that show, I get in, get out, 320 across, 2 hits, $150, bye-bye, right? That's what I'm looking for. You're looking for fewer wins with bigger bets and more coverage. So here's that pie, right? We have fewer wins, which means we're optimizing for time. The time slice is very small, right? Our big bets, which means our money is very big. The red piece would be money in our case, right? I'm more coverage. I have more numbers covered. I have less ways to lose. So in this case, my pie looks like 15% of my pie is the number of wins I need to get. 15% of my pie is how many ways I can lose, right? Whatever's left. 70% of my pie then is I have so much money out there, right? I can't make the whole thing green, but I can make 2 sections of it really small. Does that make sense? That's how I look at short time play. Again, look at the pie. If I'm playing for a longer session, I will probably have fewer bets, right? Or smaller sized bets. I will have less overall coverage, maybe 2 numbers for a small amount, or 1 dozen on a roulette wheel for a smaller amount, which means I need a lot of wins. In that case, the pie looks like a very small slice of my pie is my money at risk because I have smaller bets out there. A very small slice of my pie is probably the things that beat me. The bigger piece of my pie is time because I need to have 10, 15, 20 wins to get there. So my time slice is bigger. It's lower bankroll risk versus the short guy, the short gamer, right? So what part of the pie is the worst part for you? You can't optimize for all of it, right? So I choose to say, let me just minimize my exposure in terms of what beats me, minimize my exposure in terms of time. I'll maximize my exposure for bankroll, but it's only for this, right? You may say, I can't do that. I can't play those big bets. Good. Play smaller bets. Cover less of the board, right? Instead of 6 numbers on a craps table, cover 2 numbers on a craps table. Instead of $100 bets, $12 bets. So those 2 slices of your pie are very small, but it's going to take you 60 rolls to get there. Your time slice is huge, okay? So when you're crafting your strategies, this screen, these ideas there's no magic bullet here. That's going to come from you. Like, how do you feel about your money and your time at the table? What is your goal? You got to just craft your way of playing to mitigate the parts of the pie that you're most scared of or that you're most embracing of, right? Skill 66, our friend Skill and Luck, right? That's kind of a Midland strategy, right? It's got not a ton of exposure bankroll wise, right? He doesn't cover all the numbers. He's missing the 410 and he's missing the field numbers, right? He's got less. So half the bets covered, not all the bets covered. That slice of pie is probably 33, a third, right? His bankroll slice is probably about a third because he's $66 out of 500. So it's not a ton of money out there. He needs at least 2 specific hits. So his time slice probably, instead of needing 2 rolls, probably needs 4 to 5 rolls. His time slice, he's got about a third, right? He's exposed equally around that whole strategy. It's a pretty balanced strategy in terms of that, right? Again, when you craft your ways of playing, keep this in mind and tune it to what your brain is telling you, right? Now, optimizing for the donks, another piece of that pie. How do you optimize for what gets you out there? Okay. On average, it's the same. I'm going to do a whole show on this, but here's a couple of examples. Okay. In craps, let's say we're going to put 160 at risk. We'll make the numbers even. Okay. If I were to bet just the 4 for $160, just the 4, here's what it looks like. You would win, again, on average. This is looking at the averages, not a specific session. On the average, you're going to win 3 times that bet for 320, which is 936. It's actually 960, but you're going to lose. You got to give the vig up, $24 in vig. You will lose that $160 6 times to the 7 for 960, right? If all things being equal, you would have tied, but the casino takes their little right from you. Now, if you want to be a cross better and say, look, and that way right there, what's the optimization there? That optimization there is really a little bit about not worrying about the donks, right? You're not trying to optimize for more hits. That's going to take a lot of time to get your 3 hits, right? If you're going to go across for 160 on a craps table, cover all the numbers, right? You're going to win 24 times, right? That win total is going to be about 930. And that means you're going to win on the inside numbers, $35 the 18 times. You're going to win on the outside $50 6 times. It adds to 930. You will lose the 160 6 times to the 7 for minus 960. Guess what? They're the exact same. $6 difference. Right? If the averages hold true, which again, in your session, they won't, but again, math guy here, right? If the averages hold true, this is what it looks like. They're the same. Whether you bet one number and wait it out, or you bet across and let what's going to happen. Here's the difference, right? You're going to win. And again, if I'm doing a paycheck play, one hitting down, right? I'm going to get my paycheck 24 times. And 6 times, I'm going to walk away pissed off. Okay. Now, if I can change a month, instead of it being 24 wins and 6 losses to 25 wins and 5 losses, I'm up $1,000 for the month, right? Or up whatever. That's where you get into like the variance, right? You're never going to see the exact average, but optimizing here, I'm optimizing against time on the first one and 4 time in the second one. You see the difference there, right? In a given month, I may only hit 3 times. Follow? That's a good example in craps. Now in roulette, I can give you the same example. Okay. Again, on balance, it's the exact same thing. If I bet just the 9, my favorite number, my birthday, my birth month, the 9, for $5, one time, I'm going to win $175. Booyah, right? 37 times on average, I'm going to lose the $5 for minus 185. I'm down $10. One number, just put the number out there and get it, right? If I can win that one number before the 37th time I lose, I'm ahead of the game. Okay. Now, if I bet a dozen, which optimizes for time, I don't need to wait for 37 freaking rolls. If I'm on a dozen, I'm going to win $10 12 times, $120. I will lose that $10 26 times for minus 130. Guess what? I still lost $10. It's the exact same, right? It doesn't really matter if you're going to bet a dozen or 2 dozens or one number or whatever on the roulette wheel. It does not matter. When the averages come and the casino plays on the averages, you're still going to lose exactly the same no matter what it is. What the difference is how you want to optimize your night. Do you want to be there for 2 spins and play a dozen and get out of there in 2 spins? You want to sit there for 35 spins and hope to God you get the one number, right? Again, optimizing your bankroll, $5 at a time versus $10 at a time. 1 out of 37 spins versus 12 out of 26 or 2 out of 3 spins. What are you looking to get out of that thing? In and out quick, a little more risk, a little less risk. You're optimizing for your donks in your way of playing. Again, it ultimately, like in craps, adds up to the same win and the same loss. It doesn't matter what you're doing. If it's inside only, if it's across, if it's one number, if averages play out, you're going to get the same result in the end. And I think a lot of folks don't realize this. I did a show a while back where I put marbles in a bag and I said, look, at the end of the day, all you're doing is saying, if I'm betting the inside, I've got 18 white marbles and I got 6 black marbles. You shake the bag up, you either get a white marble or a black marble. You win or you lose. That's all that craps is. Roulette, same thing. 37 marbles in a bag, 38 marbles in a bag, and one of them is a color that you want. That's your one number. That's how the casinos work. That's all it is. So remember that. If it's important to you to get in and get out quick, I would probably optimize my donks to cover more stuff, get my one hit and roll out of there. If I'm looking to be there for a long period of time and I want to lower my risk and be there for a while, I'll play a little tiny bet and let that thing just kind of spin it. Just play the zero and wait for the freaking green number to roll. Who cares? Put your $5 on a zero and sit there and smoke your cigars all night long, right? Doesn't matter either way. And I think it's an important thing for us to remember. But again, optimizing for donks is, again, it comes down to how you want to play, how you want to have your experience be at the table. All right. So the last thing is optimizing for your bankroll. The third piece of that pie is the bankroll. And you got to break it down. Master bankroll. How much are you bringing from your bank account? What was your ATM withdrawal? Okay. And from that, are you going to play one session or multiple sessions? In my daily paycheck show, I'm buying in my bankroll my overall bankroll is 40,000, right? My session bankroll is 6,000. Am I doing 6,000 on the felt, one or two big sessions, or am I doing $1,000 6 times? Think about how that feels to you. Okay. Your session bankroll is based on your buy-in. How many runs am I planning? How many runs can I take? I'm willing to go out there for 2 rolls twice. I'm going to go out there at worst with a $6,500 buy-in. I'm taking $3,200 across twice. That's it. I'll lose the whole 6K in 2 rolls, or I'm going to win $1,500 in 2 rolls. Either way, right? You can go out there for 1,000 and try and work it as you want to. But again, that comes down to how much is on the felt. And you can go way back and say, if I've got $500 in the felt and I bought in and I bought in for 1,000 and I withdrew 2,000 from my $10,000 bank account, the $500 represents 5% of the total in your main bank account. Knowing that is key. If you're buying in for $500 and you're saying, look, I'm willing to optimize for time. I'm willing to say, with my $500, I'm going to go 480 across, and I'm going to take one hit, and I'm going to one roll the dice, and I'm going to run 480 across, $20 on the horn. I'm all in, one roll today. That's a thing you can do at 5 o'clock in the morning by yourself at a table. That's not a thing you probably do when you have 50 of your friends at a meetup, right? But again, you got to decide that. When you're making your strategy, do you want to be a one hit and down? Do you want to be $500, $12, 6 and 8? Or $500, $10 on a dozen, or $10 on a black or red, and just sit there for 3 hours. Okay. Your bankroll tells you that. How much do you want to put at risk from your bankroll? And again, for everybody, that's different. I'm not going to judge you any way that you want to do that. All in for 1, 10% or 5% for 50 rolls. I don't care what you do. But when you're making your strategies and when you're making your playing decisions, when you're making your adjustments at the table to what you're seeing, this is what you've got to think about. How much of that board do I have covered, right? Going back to your donk screen, how much money am I putting out there for that? And how long do I have to be there to get it done? Those 3 things combined make up the way that you can maximize, or at least account for or optimize your relationship with exposure. I think that's an important thing. Okay. All told, I think the pie is a real rigid thing. I don't think you can go less than 100% or more than 100%. You got a pie to play with, right? Proper ratios for your bet sizing, what you're covering, your win amounts, how long you're going to be there, and what your goals. You tie exposure to your actual goals, your bet sizing potentially relative to your bankroll. And I think when you couple all that together, the bet spread, your bankroll, what you're covering, you find your personal comfort zone. For some people, it's 44 inside. It's all I can stand. For some people, it's 480 across because they want the adrenaline rush and they want to be out of there quick. Either way you want to roll that, it doesn't matter. Losing $44 on 10 consecutive shooters is the exact same thing as going 480 across on one roll of the dice. $40 difference, right? You get what I'm saying. You bring enough money for 10 shooters and you get whacked 10 times, it's the exact same thing as going out there for one roll. 480. Just that your experience is different. Your experience with those 2 situations is different. On one, you're like, oh, that sucked. I lost. The other one, you're like, this sucks. This sucks. This sucks. This sucks. And you're pissed off all night long. Your experience drives your play decisions. All right. And there's that. Now, going to get some questions because there's going to be some great questions out here, I think. I can already see a couple of coming here. Let me get to my other screen. Hold on 1 second. I'm a little bit jacked up because I messed up my screens this morning. Let's see. Questions. Let's see. Power press clips. What if you tried a random set in martingale, like pass, don't pass, right? I did it this morning. It's the Baccarat, right? That's fine. We'll talk about, I think tomorrow, I forget. Tomorrow might be recovery. There's a day I'm talking about recovery systems, right? How you get through it. We'll talk about that. What do you do when you're down? How do you recover? Bankroll has a lot to say about it, right? Your bankroll, if you have a massive bankroll, right? Your slice of the bankroll pie is very small, right? If you have massive $5,000 bankroll, you're making $25 bets with a ladder, right? The slice of bankroll pie that you've gotten there actually is not that big. It seems like it is. It could be potentially huge if you catch a bad run, but you're optimizing for get me out of here quick. Let me catch 2, 3, 4 losers, 1 hit, I'm out, right? That's what you're looking for with the Marty strategy. You're optimizing for time, frankly, in that strategy, but you got to have massive bankroll to do it. And you're going to, of course, bump the table limits. But yeah, for sure, I do not do the Martys. I don't Marty. I don't have the bankroll. You guys know me well enough to know by now. I'm a teacher. I don't have massive. I'm not buying in for $2,000. I'm not buying in for $2K and laddering up quarter bets. I don't have the money to do it. I never have had that kind of money. I just don't play it that way, right? I like to play and play. So let's see. Yeah. So God girl. I like to win, of course, but also love the interaction at the craps table. Truth. 100% true. We talked about this last week. Your goal for a day might be to make $100, right? My goal for today might be to go downstairs with my Starbucks, make me $250 so I can play later on, right? You're talking about that secondary goal of I'm going to do this maybe a bigger bet spread thing, bigger money, make a few $100, then go play craps and roulette with my friends and take a different approach to it, a secondary way of playing that is more low bets, lay it out, right? You want to play roulette with friends for a long time and have like a fun night out, $5 on the number all night long. Like I said, it doesn't matter if you're playing dozens or whatever else, put $5 on the number or $10 on the number and sit there and let it spin all night long, right? You'll bleed out eventually, but you're not going to have a lot of risk. You're going to have a lot of time, and that might feed the energy that you want that night. That's okay. It's literally, that to me is a fine goal. I'm like really 100% down with that. I think it's great, right? Go into it staying that though. Go in, like I said the other night, be honest about your goals. Go into your session open and honest about that. I'm going to be here for 4 hours with a bunch of people. Cool. How do I make $500 last for 4 hours? I bet $5 at a time or $10 at a time. That's it. Go out there for a $10 four on the craps table and $1 hard four and just ride that thing out. It's the same. Ultimately it's the same. And if you're there for 80 shooters like we were, or 40 shooters like it was the other night, you're going to probably run into the average. You're going to win that bet, 3, 6, 9 times, lose it, whatever, and you'll be fine. That's a totally fine way to play. It's all good. Just be honest about it. Be honest about your goals, right? Let me check some more PC comments in here. Doris says, I am stating the theory of probability without the law. That's exactly right. That is exactly right. And I meant to call that out earlier, so I will call it out now. What I gave you with the it doesn't matter screen, and we're going to do a whole day on it doesn't matter. I have a whole thing planned for that same math. That was a talk about the averages. Over 1,000 rolls or 1,000 shooters. And 1,000 shooters, you're going to win, whatever. 333 fours, you're going to lose 666 sevens. But that's what's going to happen in 1,000 shooters. You're at the table for a very short period of time. Most cases, a couple hours. You might see 15, 20, 30, whatever shooters. You're never going to be in the averages. You're going to be in a swing. We call it a variant. You're going to be in a variant. Some folks call it a trend. You're going to be somewhere off the average. Now, that off the average might be an extra 4 or 2, right? Where you're going to exceed and win that night. The variant you might be in might be extra 7s. You may be on the opposite side of that, right? So you're never going to be in that perfect average. You're right. I'm talking about theory here, not law, right? Over your lifetime, you'll run into that law, but in the session that you're in, that night at the table, you'll probably be either side of that equal. Hopefully you're on the good side. Hopefully you got 4 fours instead of 3 fours, and you can maybe even get a 4, press a 4, hit a 4, and really be ahead of it, right? That would be fantastic if that works out. Let's see who else has something to say. Jalen Pond says if the balls of marble is an example of probability distribution, then playing a progression on a specific number should be that exactly right. I think progressions are where it's at. We have a whole show coming up on progression betting. I think pressing rhythm for one thing is where it's at. I think progressions on streak style betting, like lines and fields and reds and blacks and that kind of thing. That's where I think you can overcome some of this stuff, right? 2 hits back to back, same bet. 2 hits back to back where you've progressed the bet and then come back down again. You're ahead of the game. Same number of rolls, same number of wins, but your progressions make you the money. That overcomes some of this math. It overcomes some of this average stuff. So great call out there. Joe says November 2nd is prime bow hunting. Sorry, man. I'm working. I'm really working to get the 19th to work. I'm trying hard to make that PR day. They kind of hit me for a what? The 2nd? Like literally a Friday afternoon. I'm like, oh God. So I'm thinking about it. I am thinking about it. Ken's here. What kind of crap am I spouting today? Hopefully it was good crap. Hopefully today was a good day for crap, for talking. Tom says music reaction videos amongst generations is fantastic. I love it. I actually like, you know me, I love my death metal, right? I love Slipknot. I love Slayer. I love all the heavy stuff. There's a channel called The Charismatic Voice, and it's a woman who's a vocal teacher, and she breaks down some of these singers, like the guttural stuff. And she's like amazed that they can even do it. Cause a lot of these guys, and actually the gal from Ginger, super guttural. And then she comes out with this heavenly voice, like how she like looks like, how are they making that happen? Like it's great. I love that. Like all day long, I can do that kind of stuff. So, let's see. Duracell says pressing progressions are done too early in rolls. I would agree with that. You listen to Bo Parker, the dice coach. He will tell you straight up, same bet, then press and collect. Same bet first, get your money off, and then press collect is a good rhythm to be in. So, all right, let's see. I'm not trying to dismiss the law of large numbers. You're going to run into it, right? What you're hoping for is that you end up in a good variant for you. I'll give you an example. In my morning show, I've started doing the 1-2 hits and down thing, right? Recently, we just started it about a month and a half ago. If I'm going to play 365 days a year, let's take 100 days as the example. I should win 80% of the time and lose 20% of the time. That on that one hit and down. That should be my ratio if I'm covering the across bets, right? That should be what I do. In 100 days, I'm probably not going to hit perfection. I'm not going to lose exactly 20 and win exactly 80. What I'm hoping for is that we can dodge law of big numbers stuff because we're in a small window. 100 days is a small window out of my life, right? Even over the course of a year, 300 days over the course of a year, small window out of the course of your life. You're hoping that the variant that you find yourself in is the positive one for you. So instead of losing 20%, I lose 14%, which is where I am right now. I'm actually in that 83% right now. You want to be losing 14% instead of 20% in the variant that you find yourself in. And I'm trying to learn how to throw the dice so I can keep myself in the good variant for me. Like that's where those two things kind of mesh together. And again, I'm never going to hit law of big numbers playing one roll a day, even for the next 10 years, right? One roll a day, 4 days a week for 10 years. I'm going to be at what? 1,000 rolls, right? We're going to approach average. We're not going to get to the actual average. So I'm trying to dodge that, not embrace it. Hope that answers your question there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Watch her watch Ginger. Tatiana from Ginger. It's one of the best reaction videos she's ever done. All right, guys, it's 9:00. I have to go. I'm 1 minute late for work. So I will see you all tomorrow morning. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the great questions. Love y'all. God bless. I will see you in the next one. Bye.